G'day, it's Justin Hogg here from RightSource, talking to you about how your accountant can help you when you're going through a time of crisis. Now, accountants don't necessarily have the reputation of being the warmest or those people that you can have a conversation with, but probably the first thing that I would say is that your accountant, and it goes with a lot of the professionals that are helping you in your business, you should ideally already have a very trusting relationship with them, because they're dealing with the fundamentals of your business, whether it's your accountant dealing with cash, a lawyer dealing with legal issues, or HR dealing with your people. Those people have a very intimate knowledge of your business. So usually what develops with those people is a good relationship, and there's a trusting relationship there. So first and foremost, in times of crisis, it can feel very lonely and you can feel very stressed. The best thing to do is to talk to others and try and get perspective, because that's what talking to your accountant or your lawyer or your other professional services who are with you on your journey in your business, but they're not necessarily under the same stress that you are in terms of your business in crisis. They can help just giving you that comfort that things are going to be okay, or that bit of perspective. So that's probably the first thing. In terms of then getting a bit more into the nitty-gritty if things aren't going well, one of the things your accountant can do is actually help you understand what parts of your business are going well and what parts aren't. Or more importantly then from that, what parts of your business you might need to stop doing and what parts of your business you need to focus on. Because when a business goes in crisis, quite normally it's not everything that falls apart. It's one aspect that's really fallen apart, and that then gets all your attention. So something's going wrong, and as a business owner, all of a sudden, you're focused in on this one issue. And what that causes you to do, you move away from the strategic level and you start moving down into operational, and you start focusing on that one thing. So that very quickly takes away your forward vision. So you can't see what's happening because you're so down into the detail. By talking to your accountant about these type of things, one, it can help allay some of the fears. It can give you an action plan for that detail so you can get someone to execute it. But also, that discussion should help bring you up so that you're then looking out further and having a discussion longer term. So what's going to happen in the next 6 months or the next 12 months? Based on what's happening now, and let's dealing with that now, what's likely to happen in the future? And through gaining that perspective, quite often that can help you understand what this current crisis means for you and your business, and ultimately whether it's going to be something that destroys your business or whether it's something you just need to persevere through, and that there may actually be opportunities on the other side. Whereas if you are too much in the detail and don't pull yourself out of that, you'll miss that opportunity in the future. So that's a very important aspect. The other thing that can happen when, especially there's a crisis that's happening externally, and we saw it through the GFC, and we see it through other instances like that, is that the government will often offer stimulus packages to help business grow, both state, federal. They want business to succeed because that's what drives the economy. Your accountant can help look at what's available in these stimuli and understand the best way that these could help your business. So when you're a business owner and you're seeing, oh, the government's offering this and they're offering that, and you got to apply for this, not all of them will be applicable for you, and not all of them will actually benefit your business. So what your accountant can do is can help you start to cherry pick those, or even monitor the environment and understand what's out there, so that they can then present that to you in a way that's best for your business and in a way that actually will help your business move through the crisis and respond to those opportunities that will come at the back end of the crisis. And then lastly, the thing that your accountant can help you with is, through this crisis, help continue to provide that analysis of that information probably more frequently, so that you're on top of what's going on and can react quickly to changes that happen both in your business and external to your business, so that you can be in the best place to navigate your way through the crisis and be able to get out to the other side. Because that's what it's all about. A lot of these things, and businesses go through it multiple times through their life, and I know I've had clients that I've been working with that have had different crises for different reasons, and they've navigated through them and they've learned through them and grown and been successful. So it's not the end of the world. There'll be another day. It's about making sure that you're here to benefit from what could come from tomorrow. So ultimately, if your business is going through a crisis, I would definitely recommend giving your accountant a call and just having a conversation and understanding what they can do to help you, and not feeling so alone. That's it for today in terms of managing through a crisis and what your accountant might be able to do to help. If you'd find this video interesting and you'd like to see more, definitely subscribe to the YouTube channel or check out some of the other videos that we've got. If there's anything that you're struggling with in terms of your business at the moment, feel free to chuck it down in the comments below. Happy to provide some comments, or if you want to connect with me on LinkedIn and direct message, happy to have a conversation. Otherwise, it's Justin Hogg from RightSource. Thanks for watching.